I'm not sure I could say that my sponsor gave me direct advice, but certainly the confidence they showed in me was unbelievably useful. I think you have a tendency to undermine yourself and play down your achievements and your abilities. I'm sure part of it is about being quintessentially British, but we're all quite bashful in our achievements, and so someone showing such huge confidence in me and faith when if I'd been left to my own devices, I wouldn't have been so keen to take up the opportunity. That's been huge, and making the move that I have and changing companies has sort of emphasised that even more. I think when you've grown up in a company and you've reached sort of a relatively senior level, certainly I had a moment where I thought, oh, maybe it's just specific to here. Maybe I've only done well because I've been here and people have shown faith in me. You know, there was a huge moment of self-doubt of whether other people would want me. And so actually going through the interview process, realising how much I've done, and then other people offering me jobs as well was an additional boost to that confidence, because you realise that you've got universal skills. And I think it's really good at focusing your mind on realising how much you've done in a year, 2 years, 5 years.
Clearly you've got the structured formal mentoring that I've had in my career. For me, that it didn't really inspire me, because it's very processed and very sort of, now fill in this and draw a picture of this and imagine if. And it feels a bit manufactured. For me, I can look back and say there's probably been 3 really good mentors. Coincidentally, I think I worked for all of them, and it's sometimes you come across people in your working life, and it doesn't have to be your boss, but there's a real connection there. You get inspired when you talk to them. They see something in you, they're excited about what you're doing, or they give you very strong feedback. You get on with them, and when you sense that, you'll know when it happens. Then the thing to do is to nurture that and ask them for advice. Ask them if you could spend mentoring time with them, or position it as you feel comfortable. And once you've done that, maintain it. So, as an example, one of the people I work for at Reuters, he now invests in small portfolios of businesses. I've sat on one of his boards of one of his businesses. He would be one of the first people I would go to say, look, I'm thinking about this change. What do you think? And I first worked for him, 28 years ago or something, and I think women are better at keeping it going and just dropping a line, or are you free for lunch, or whatever it is. So consciously recognize those people, realize that they're very good for you, and as you move on, it's not going to get you the next job, but they're good for you as a sounding board, and keep that contact going, and they become really good friends as well, which is also important in business.
In terms of reaching out to individuals, so firstly, I always say that if you do meet someone, always remember to follow up with them. I have lots of people that reach out to me and they never follow up. And I'm always happy to spend time with individuals, even if it's less formal, one-off or occasional. I would say that when you're out there looking for individuals to connect with, there are lots of different ways that you can do so. So think about where you may have a common interest. So is it through a university alumni association, for example? Is it through a body that you're a member of? I'm a member of the Chartered Institute for Personnel and Development, so I often try to ensure I link in with colleagues and professionals through that organisation. I attend industry type events, so I try to make sure that at least 6 or 7 times a year as a minimum, I'm out with an industry event and I have the opportunity to network and meet new individuals. And then as I'm approaching them, I try to think about what I bring to them. So it's not just about what you're looking for from the individual, but what can you give them? So a shared sense of achievement is something that really helps. So when individuals come out to me, I'm very keen to understand what they're looking for, but also what they can bring to me as well.
I always coach people that it's your career, You know, my career doesn't belong to MasterCard, it belongs to me. It's your career, so you must feel comfortable with it. And when you get to a point where you feel that you're being sidelined, or that the organisation that you're working for is sort of taking control of that, or is slowing it down, and you don't feel it's the right thing to do, clearly check it out, talk it through, understand why you feel the way you do, but you must be in control of it. And sometimes that means just moving on, or trying something different. And I think that's the other thing in my career. You know, I started out in accountancy, enjoyed that, very glad I did that, moved into sales, moved into product management, marketing communications, and that doesn't always mean upward. You know, it's not a career ladder, it's a career journey, and you need to try different things as you move through.
For me, the biggest challenge is this developing my skills to communicate, and I guess recognising that there's still, when you look up at the CEOs, there are still a lot, and our CEO, whilst he's a very charismatic individual, is maybe predominantly the board is the PLC board is male, so that you would say there's still possibly a natural preference for more of a male board there, and trying to break through that and recognise that I need to find a more open-minded individual, where it's not about constantly having to prove myself, because yes, it's about me as an individual and my capabilities and how well I map with them and their preferences and management style. But it's no good if I'm constantly having to fight past the fact that they just see me as a woman, and they can't talk to me about football. You know, I'll talk about football if I have to, but I'd rather talk about rugby. But so I do think there's an element of trying to find that right CEO to move to being a CFO, or that right board that will let me be the CEO, but also finding the right organisation with the right culture, the right behaviours, and sort of service or product that they have that I really strongly believe in and support and want to be part of.
I think I would also not view it as a race. You know, I remember feeling, oh gosh, I've been in this role for 3 years, it's time I did this, it's time I did that. That's not true. If you're feeling fulfilled and you're continuing to learn and you're continuing to deliver well, then that's absolutely fine. You know, I think often women feel they have to prove themselves, and there's a sense of urgency there. A career is not a race. You know, a career is about doing things that fulfill you. If you enjoy something, you will do it well. You know, and that would be really important. Do something you really enjoy doing. Keep moving forward. Keep learning. And it's like a layer cake, you know, every layer complements the previous one, and you become a much more fulfilled and able business person, I think, as you've had lots and lots of experiences.
I'd love a crystal ball, so someone could tell me where I'm going to be, so I know when's the right time to make these decisions. I think in the media you get told that women are running out of time and you need to have children sooner and sooner and sooner, and your eggs will dry up. So you're constantly feeling under pressure that you need to start thinking about family, but then when to fit it into a career is such a hard thing. So I would love them to tell me where I'm going to be, so I know the perfect time to do it.
It's kind of that balancing act, isn't it? And there's no sort of magic recipe here. I think it's about trying to do everything you do well, and not feel guilty for what you're not doing. You know, you can't be in 3 places at once, but you can have it all. You know, you can have a great, fulfilling career. You can have good relationships, good friendships. You can be part of a family network and support that. And of course, you can be a mother or a carer or whatever you choose to be, or have an interest or a hobby. You know, I've now just started doing some portfolio executive work because it's important to me at this stage of my career. And you can always fit it in, but you're going to have to make some compromises. And I think, you know, as a working mother, perhaps, so one of the lessons I learned early on was you have to let your territory go. There's one particular sort of little anecdote where I came down Sunday morning for breakfast, and I think my youngest son was probably about 8, and he said to me, "Oh, Mum, can you scramble me an egg?" And I was so shocked. Oh my goodness, my son doesn't think I can cook. But he had no sort of picture in his mind of his mum cooking, because my husband is a great cook. And my immediate reaction was, oh my gosh, you know, but then I thought, no, this is nonsense. So I taught him how to scramble an egg, you know. But you have to let your territory go. And when my mother, who's now 83, she might say to me, have you got any, I don't know, marmalade or something in the cupboard? I go, I don't know. And she finds that quite difficult, that I don't know what food is in the cupboard.